The oceans have always fed us, but the sad reality is that they're changing faster than fish can adapt. Rising temperatures, plastic pollution, even acidifying waters are turning open sea farming into a fragile gamble. So the solution may no longer lie out there, but right here on land. The key is imitation, recreating the balance of nature, but in this case, inside closed systems. A couple hours north, but still on the Aegean coast, a company called Aquatech has built Europe's largest such facility where water is cleaned, reused, and cycled endlessly. And at the helm is owner Güngör Muhtaroğlu.
In recent years, especially after the pandemic, we've been witnessing significant pollution in our seas. This is mainly due to the sharp increase in phosphates and nitrates, which has led to a massive rise in algae and, consequently, contamination. The situation raises concerns about the future of our fish populations. What will things look like 10 or 15 years from now? That's why we're gradually feeling the need to move our operations onto land. But that's not the only reason. There are certain fish species, such as flatfish, that live on the seabed and are extremely difficult to farm at sea. These species can only be cultivated on land. At the same time, our ability to maintain better control over conditions will increase significantly. Finding workers and divers is getting harder every year, and managing conditions at sea isn't easy. There's also the issue of wildlife. Birds, dolphins, and other sea creatures struggling to find food approach us more frequently. For all these reasons, we decided to move our operations onshore.
When you look at this facility, you're using advanced recycling and recirculating water systems. Tell me why this is important in what you do.
We first approach the system from a biological perspective. Whatever exists in the sea, we try to replicate it on land. In other words, instead of expecting nature to adapt to us, we wanted to adapt ourselves to nature. And the only way to do that is through high technology. If you want to raise healthy fish, they need limited exposure to bacteria and microorganisms, just enough for their immune systems to strengthen. Our goal is to raise fish that can thrive even when released into the open sea. That's why the foundation of our system is recirculation, and it allows us to operate using very little water. This is, in fact, the main principle behind our move to land-based farming.
If it weren't for the filters and pumps, this land-based model wouldn't be possible. And that technology comes from MAT-KULING, the company building the backbone of this new blue-green industry. As the world looks inland for its seafood, companies like this are proving that sustainability is an engineering challenge as much as an ecological one. And leading that effort is General Manager Taner Bilgic. Now, we've just visited one of a sector that's actually you play a very dominant role in, and that's indoor fisheries, inland fisheries. And a lot of these equipment play a vital role in actually setting up that system. Tell me what you have here under this roof.
We have a lot. Right now, I can easily say that we have, for example, here a protein skimmer that removes the organic material from the water. We have UV disinfection housing to decrease the bacteria population in the water. We have the gas tower to strip the carbon dioxide out from the water. Because the fish, of course, they are different than us, but they are still alive and they need clean environments. They don't like ammonium, they don't like carbon dioxide, they want oxygen. And to sustain all these parameters in the water, we have an equipment. So that's why we call ourselves as a one-stop RAS manufacturer. RAS means, in this case, Recirculated Aquaculture Systems, which is the future of the seafood production.
Tell me what you're doing as MAT-KULING, the vital role that you play in terms of the sustainability of water and the food that we get from water, but how this technology is actually developing as well.
This technology every day, every year is developing itself, because requirements from the industry is changing. Now there are new regulations in many parts of the world. For example, we do our main business area is Nordic countries and Norway. So we can see that every year we have stricter regulations to use the water in minimum way. So this creates challenge to technology. So one year you are trying to ensure that carbon dioxide is minimum in the water and you have oxygen-rich environment for sake of fish, and the other year you find yourself to decrease phosphate, nitrate discharge of the facility. So all these requirements bring as a load, engineering load, to design and produce specific equipment for specific upcoming needs.
Where do you see yourself in about 5 years' time?
The land-based aquaculture production is growing, and there will be many farms all over the world. In Norway, in Saudi Arabia, for example, we have multiple projects in Norway, and at the same time we have multiple projects in Saudi Arabia. And we expect an exponential growth.
One example that you gave is Norway. The other example that you gave is Saudi Arabia. I mean, these could be sort of at the opposite ends of the spectrum. One is very rich when it comes to aquaculture. One has receives little or no rain throughout the year.
Exactly.
And this just tells you how much demand there's going to be.
Exactly, and this also shows the power of the land-based aquaculture and RAS, because there is a COVID issue a few years ago. We forgot it quickly, but we had an issue that time, and it was not only a health crisis, it was also a food crisis, because the countries had problems that time to reach food for their people because of the border issues and trade issues, etc. And it's a good example that Saudi Arabia learned a lesson from this crisis, and now they are focusing to produce their own seafood in Saudi Arabia. They want to produce their own salmonoid, they want to produce their own trout, other types of seafood production, and that's where we are. That's where we are going to be in 5 years. We are going to be with them to help them to produce their own food. And we will do it same in Denmark, same in Turkey, and maybe same in United States very, very closely.